Okay, everybody. So let me check something here. Yeah, it's plugged in. No, that's plugged in. That's plugged in. Okay. Hi, everyone. So since the newest 2026 Writer's Planner is out, I figured I have to go over some details. So something new this year is project sheets. So I'm going to go through in some detail how to use these. Number one, there is ignore me. Sorry, been a long day. Your goals. The first thing you're going to do is figure out your goals for the year. And maybe one of your goals is to sell more books. Always a good goal for a writer, right? So a project, you go to projects and you can use the project sheets to come up with like maybe the projects as part of that goal are to do an event, like do a big event, like a Comic-Con or something, right? So, for example, if the project is to do a Comic-Con or a book festival, you're gonna have a due date to get the things done. You have a level of excitement to choose from, and the reason I have that on there is, let's say your project, you circle meh, you're like, it's not that great of a project. Um, that probably means either you should scrap this project or you should hire someone else to do it for you because you're obviously not going to do it if it's a meh, really. But if you're excited about it, it's more likely a project that you're going to get done, right? So that's why that's on there. And then the next thing is there an ROI, a return on investment? If you're paying money into this project, if you're buying a table, if you're buying, so if you're doing a table and event, you need table covers, banners, something on the table to bring people up, start conversations. Maybe you have to buy a costume, dress like your character. All right, you're buying all these things, and then you have to buy books. You have to get there. You have to, maybe pay for parking or whatever, right? Stack up all that money that you spent. Did you, well, as you're building the project, maybe you don't know if there's a return on investment yet, but maybe you made all your money back by selling books, and maybe you got a ton of email signups, right? That's a return on investment, getting email signups. So think about, is there a return investment on this project? If there is no return on investment, do you really need to do it? Is it worth your time spending on the project? So those two questions at the top are really important for you to think about. Is this project worth doing? If it isn't, then I'd say cross all that out, start on a new project. The next section is, do you need a partner, resource, or research? And that's here. And so, for example, I know I had this great example of a partner the other day, and now I can't think of it. Um, Research, like maybe you have to do your research on a specific event, like Tucson Festival of Books requires people who have tables to have insurance. So maybe you have to do some insurance research, email some insurance companies, get some quotes, buy the insurance. So that's some research that you might have to do. Resources. So if you're doing an event, again, what kind of resources might you need before coming up with your project list of things to do? Another project, right? Maybe you don't have your book published yet. Maybe you want to plan a book launch, and maybe that's what this project is. Maybe you're just planning how to publish your book. A resource for publishing would be an editor, cover artist. Maybe you don't have a group of beta readers, or maybe you want to make a critique group, right, to help read your book and make it better, all that good things, all those good things. So, right, so that's an example. A good example of a partner just came to me. So if you're doing an event and you only have one book, it makes your table look really empty. Maybe you want to partner with another author on an event. Maybe your partner is an event space or a brewery, like partnering up with a brewery to have a book signing. So think about that. And obviously, projects do not have to be writing associated, right? Projects in our life are probably going to be other things as well. But that's why I put these in here though, so that especially for me, um, if I, well, I have a lot of things going on in a year. I have a lot of projects, and so I wanted to have something to help organize those with my calendar. All right, and there are 10 of these sheets in here. So hopefully you don't go through 10 of them in a year. But if you do, let me know in the comments because then for 2027, I'll put more in there. Yeah. And that is how to use the project sheet. Although, one more thing I forgot, which is really important. You're going to create that list of steps in the project. So I'm going to use Tucson Festival of Books again. So, so steps in the project, you know, to go to the Tucson Festival of Books, apply, right? You have to apply, whether you're getting a table or whether you're going to the indie author space, whatever. Application might be the first thing. The next thing, you know, read their indie author guidelines. The next thing might be get insurance. The next thing would be etc. Right? You're going to come up with this list. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put a due date on each of these things. Not only that, you're going to take this list and you're going to transfer it onto your calendar somewhere, right? Because there's a calendar in here. For example, I have to order books. And so the event is in March. I have to make sure to order books probably late January, early February. So that's a step in the project, order books. And so I am going to go to late January. And somewhere in here, I'm going to write down order books, exclamation point. So, right? So you make your project list, but put them in your calendar to make sure they get done so you don't forget about them. And that is how to use the project sheets. If you have any questions, definitely leave me a comment. And I'd love to hear how this is working for you. Thank you.